We receive and pass on messages every day in the job. It's very important for us to maintain a good means of communication. It can be quite crucial. I mean, a tour company might phone up and say, we've had to cancel the tour today, so it's very important that all of us know that, so that whenever a customer comes in, they're not being given incorrect information. You might take a phone message for someone, so you would email that to the person straight away and maybe just follow it up later as well to make sure they got the message.
Whenever we do have messages, it would be obviously through all the usual modes of communication: telephone, email, fax.
I deal with the bulk of the telephone queries that come through here to the Playhouse. If the person that a customer or client requires isn't in the building at the time, I can offer them the voice mailbox system, or indeed we do take messages in reception.
The type of messages that I would need to pass on to colleagues that I work with are, we would get phone calls about different team members maybe are sick, maybe wanting to change a shift, maybe telling us that they're late to the traffic, they can't make it in, so then I would have to inform the rest of the team. We would get messages regarding booking parties, booking kids' parties, so I would write them in the diary and they would be passed on to the manager, who would make the team aware that day that when the party was. Sometimes I'd have to pass on messages if we're low on stock. As I do the prep, I would notice if there was things that we were getting low on.
Usually the best way of communicating to them is through email. However, sometimes that can be a wee bit of a barrier, and the best thing is to lift up the phone and have a chat to them. There's 11 of us in our head office. Not always do I get an opportunity to see them on a weekly basis. So the best way for me to get in touch with them is through telephone or through email.
The majority of the messages that I would receive and pass on would be internal. The events bookings team that works here at the resort would deal a lot with the client initially, and then closer to the date of the event, the information would be passed on to myself at the operations side. So the messages that I would receive would be in the form of function sheets, which is basically the information needed to run the function and all the information in that. So I would initially take that information, pass it on to my assistant manager and my team, and with everybody having all the correct information is how the event becomes a success.
Occasionally we would get messages for the guests. We would either give them verbally, or we have special message cards that we can slip under the door. That obviates the need for disturbing the guest. He can pick it up and read it at his leisure. We could also use telephones, and if they were external to us, we would use the internet to send emails, etc.
We would be passing on messages to other members of staff, and we would do this by either verbally over the phone, be email, or it just could be written down on a piece of paper and left for the person to view the next time that they were in the office.